Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is Sunday, March 26th. So, today is my, whip and chat true crime story time. First, let's talk about what's gone on since Friday. Friday, I worked until 8:30. Yes, I know. It was the only good thing about the day really was that we could hear the audio. It was clear. We didn't have any issues with what we usually have. So I am trying to get my putty situated here. That was the witness. And everyone, it's like everyone's a horrible witness. People just do not know how to, speak, let somebody else speak before they start speaking. Because these people were interrupting themselves. I mean, the witness himself interrupted himself so many times that by the time we got like a good ways into the deposition, I was like, how are these attorneys even going to make heads or tails of this? Because some of his answers would span like 2 pages and just kill me now. So yeah, got done work at 8:30. And Bill did get a truck. So he bought a truck on Friday and he was home, I want to say like 3 o'clock. And he comes in and I knew it. I knew, of course, he wants to show me the truck. And I said, I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be able to come out and look at that truck properly yet because I'm drowning. I literally felt like I was drowning the whole day. Just couldn't keep up. Had to slow down the audio, so it took me longer because I couldn't. They talked so fast. I mean, it was just crazy pants. So I said, why don't you drive me to Starbucks to get a coffee? And I don't know why the putty keeps coming out of my pen on here. I'll try to do this while I'm talking. Yeah, so Friday night, Bill went to bed early. He went to bed at like 9:30. He's like, do you want to do some stitching? And I mean, I was pretty exhausted from work, but I was like, yeah, because if I don't even take like 10 minutes, I'm irritated. You know what I mean? Because then I feel like all I'm doing is working. So he went to bed. I stitched. I actually stayed up pretty late because I caught up. I watched the last 2 episodes of Daisy Jones and the Six. So that show is done now, and I'm so sad because, it was so good. And the ending was good. I didn't hate it because some shows, I can hate the ending, and it's like, no, this was done really good. And yeah, I made pretty decent progress, I feel like, on the stitching. I'm moving right along on that. Now, speaking of the stitching, for some of the other patterns, I might use my Markup XP. I don't know. I was fooling with it this morning. So I go to bed. Saturday comes. We get up. We go to Starbucks. The truck is amazing. I mean, he can start it from an app on his phone. I mean, come on now. And the navigation panel in it is huge. It's very, very nice. Really nice truck payment also. But he definitely deserves it, needed it. His truck was 14 years old. So we did that and we came back, and I had to go get in the shower because my stepdaughter was coming over at 11:30, and we were going to go to Dunkin' Donuts on the way to the designer purse bingo. So it was a very rainy, cold, gloomy day on Saturday as well, just like Friday. So we went to the bingo, and my sister was volunteering there. My mom actually won. She won a Juicy Couture duffel bag, which she doesn't even really like. She would have much rather had a purse. And I don't know. She's going to either give me the... Oh, what is wrong with this putty? I love this putty, but why does it keep like coming out of my pen? I don't know what's happening here. I normally do not have any problem. Zero problem. Wait a minute, I'm really trying to get some stabbed in there. You know what I feel like I need to do? I feel like because this room is a little warm, I feel like I need to put the putty like in the freezer or something, like get it a little bit firmer. Maybe it's like too sticky. And I'm a hard presser. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this one. It wants to... Let me pause for a second. All right, yeah, I got one of my other putties that wasn't as sticky as that one, and I think we're good to go now, hopefully. We're going to see here in a second. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay. So, yeah, we went to the bingo. Okay, what the fuck? Yeah, I haven't cussed in a long time, have I? I don't know what's happening here, people. It's been warm here the last couple days. I feel like that's affecting the viscosity of the putty. It's like getting everywhere. It's like all over the canvas. I probably need to put in, maybe I'm putting in too much too. It's like a fine line for sure. Okay, let's try this again. Let's straighten that up. Okay. Yeah, I think I was putting, well, I'm done that color now. All right, so we get back from the bingo. My stepdaughter leaves. Bill and I actually got dinner at a new Mexican place that opened up near us. It was pretty good. We just bought too much food. And it was good though. And we watched this comedian on Netflix, Bert Kreischer, I think, something like that. Oh boy, he was so funny. And Bill went to bed again like 9. And I stayed up again late stitching. I watched the sequel to Wall Street. And yeah, I've gotten some good stitching done. Yeah, that's the key. You can't put a lot of the putty in there. You just can't. I think I was putting too much in the other one because this is good now. I put that one in the refrigerator though. I want to see if I can firm it up and if that makes a difference. It probably does. So Charlize messaged me. We were supposed to go driving today. Charlize messaged me late last night and said her throat was bothering her, and every time she swallowed, her ear hurt. So if she was still not feeling good, my mom was going to take her to like urgent care today. Well, she messaged me at like 7:30 and said she's still not feeling good. So we didn't go driving today. And you know, I was secretly glad because Sundays, I mean, so I got up, I had coffee, I talked to some people online, talked to Sandra, talked to Jill, and I'm reading a pretty good book called You can't hide. I'll link it down below if I remember. What symbol is this? 8. Okay. I'm done with that one. The credenza in front of me, perfection. I can't even tell you. This is the first time I'm actually sitting down and working on it, using it, since I have, because we just set the desk up Thursday, and then Friday worked till 8:30, and yesterday, no diamond painting. So yeah, today's the first day, and oh my God, it's so wonderful. It's so, I can't even. So I posted, okay, anyway, today, let me finish talking about that. And then that's like, I feel like I have so much to talk about besides doing the true crime. I will get to that eventually though. So then I had to go to the grocery store. Now, my stepdaughter and her boyfriend are coming over for dinner. So I actually had to get some extra stuff for the dinner. Well, you know, I have been trying to have a good attitude about the grocery store because normally I detest it. I don't know what it is. It's completely exhausting. I didn't realize how exhausting it truly is going by myself and having to do all of it. It was such a huge help having Bill with me. I really realized that today. And I got home and I'm like, this is exhausting. And so I don't know how to have a better attitude about the grocery store. I'm thankful I'm able to purchase food and go get it. That's as far as it goes. How do I have a better attitude? I don't know, because I couldn't find one thing that I wanted. I walked all around the store, forgot 2 things, and had to go back in aisles I had already been in. By the time I got home, and then had to, I had to buy a case of water, unload. I mean, it's exhausting doing it all myself. Yeah. So got home, had lunch, and then was like, okay, I need to sit down and do this video because it is 1:49 p.m. right now, and Bill's going to be home at about 3:30. And then his daughter will be over here at 4:30. Okay. I've had some questions and stuff about my setup, the credenza. First off, I posted a picture on Diamond Art Club's website, and I had everybody wanted to link to the desk. So I PM'd a bunch of people, linked the desk for sure. I'm like, what symbol to do now? Let's do, what's that one? 27. And I had a comment today on my video, and the person was asking, well, now that you've used the credenza for a few days, not realizing this was the first day I really did, they were like, how do you like it? Is it easy to pour the diamonds? And I'm like, you don't have to pour anything. There's no pouring. That's one reason why I got this, because all I do, now when you kit up, obviously you're pouring the diamonds in here, but you're not having to pour anything out. I'm just putting the tray back in the slot, pulling the next tray. That's the beauty of it, right? So I hope I made that clear to that person. I like the big trays that they have. I know not everybody likes that size. Now, one thing that I thought was really cool was, so I did my unboxing video. I woke up today and I had a message from the Chink LED company. They said, we saw your unboxing video and you warmed our hearts. Thank you so much. We would like to send you something as appreciation. Would you like our pen cabinet? They make like a little cabinet for the diamond painting pens, and it's not to my taste, and I already have something that I use for my pens. But they make something called a perch, which is like a clear acrylic bar that acts like a cover minder, but it will hold the tray so you don't need like this sticky pad. And I found one on their pictures that I liked, and I said, instead of the pen cabinet, can I have a perch? And they're going to make it, the writing's going to be in purple. It's going to say Stitcherista on it. I have bought 2 other things like that from other people on Etsy, and I don't like either one. And it's not to say that the product is bad. It's just not, it doesn't fit what I want it to fit, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping that this one, I like it. I'm hoping. We'll see. And it's funny because I was telling my friend Stephanie Myers, and she was like, when are you going to get that, I wonder? I said, I don't know, because poor Chink LED is inundated with orders for credenzas. So, but I'm so glad I finally got my credenza. And this desk, like I said, perfection. Worth every single penny that I paid for it. Let's do this down arrow. 19. Yeah, worth every single penny. Now, remember I was, whoops, sorry, I hit my hand on the tripod. Remember I was talking about doing rainbow flower power, and that is, I think, the biggest diamond painting that I have. And I pulled it out right after I filmed Friday's video. And it's big. And I was talking to Becky over the weekend, and she was like, you could work it sideways, because sideways it'll fit like this on the light pad. And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea, because I never thought about working it sideways, but I know people have done that. So that's going to be a consideration. And I really think when I get to doing that one, which I'm a couple diamond paintings from it, that once I get it done, because that one is going to take me such a long time to do because it's so huge, that when I hang it up on this wall that I want it on above my desk, it's not going to be rotated. Like, that one's going to stay there. Yeah, that one's going to stay there. So I told Bill, I said, for that one, you're going to have to put a lot of magnets in it, because that is going to be hella heavy. Very, very heavy. But it's going to be gorgeous. Becky is actually working on that one. She sent me a picture, and oh my God, I love it so much. It reminds me, like the size reminds me of like Elizabeth that I did. But speaking of Diamond Art Club, I was in line at the grocery store today because, good God, it's so crowded on Sunday. And I was looking at Facebook, looking at the Diamond Art Club group, and they put another voting link up there. So if you are a member of the VIP group, they have a link in there where you can vote on future pictures. And oh my God, they're going to have some Lizzie Falcon ones. Ah! I love her artwork. You guys know I did a couple of the paintings from, what is the company? I cannot believe I can't remember the company name. I gotta look it up because it's gonna bug me, and I'm sure you guys are screaming it. I did Cherry Blossom. Who is it? Treasure Studios Art. Why can I never remember that name? I don't know why. But yeah, so two of the images were Lizzie Falcons, and I like about died. And then I even saw a Selena Fennick one in there, the Sea of Roses. I was like, ooh, there's some good images in there. I didn't see any Hannah Lynn's though. I was sad about that. But some good images. I even saw a couple Amy Brown ones, which I love. I love, love, love those. So yeah, there's some good kits coming down the pike. Now, I didn't get anything from Saturday's releases. Nothing really caught my eye, but they always do good. It's wonderful, the variety of diamond paintings that they offer, because you're bound to find something suited to you. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm trying to think. Was there something else? Oh, somebody wanted to know where I got my putty. And I'm going to start linking. It's Nyx's Notions. And I'm going to start linking it in. You can see I haven't had any trouble since I didn't put a big glob of the putty in there. Nyx's Notions on Etsy. And I actually got 3 putties I had ordered in the mail. I have a bunch more. I went kind of cuckoo crazy. one really cool thing that I have to show you. Wait a minute, I'm making sure there's no more 5s. I wanted something besides the yoga block to display the putties. And I went on Amazon and I found this clear acrylic, like it's perfume shelf. And I bought 2 of them because one I want to have for the small jars, like that have the little thing on top. She like hot glues something on top that fits what the putty is. But then she has these like fancy ones. And I have a couple of these. So I wanted one for these and one for the other style. So I have them on either side of my bookcase. Oh my God, it looks so good. So I will show those to you in tomorrow's video. And trying to think, was there anything else? Number 2. I can't think. Ooh, her pupils. These are ABs. Haha, white. Love the AB diamonds. I can't wait to get a diamond painting that has like the fairy dust drills where they're like metallic. Or they're like, it looks like the glitter is infused in the drill. Oh man, yeah. Okay, let's do that little bit of red so I can get that out of the way. All right, I think that's all. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to chat about. Oh, but yeah, I'm doing so good on my stitching. The project is really coming together. Oh, and the shadow box. So I messaged somebody and someone had told me this person makes them. So I messaged them on their Etsy store. And she was like, I don't make them, but I can price it and see. Okay, well, so I'm waiting to hear back. It's not something I have to have. Oh boy. It's not something I have to have, but I would possibly like to have it to put my excess diamonds in, just so I'm not throwing them in the trash. You know what I mean? And we'll see. But like I said, not something I have to have, because if it's something ridiculously priced, I mean, a shadow box and a decal, it's not happening. I'm not, no. We will see. Okay. So today's true crime story. Oh, by the way, and I'm working all 5 days this week. So yeah, I'm hoping some of those days don't go all the live long day, so I can get some diamond painting done. We'll see about that. I hope you guys have all had a good weekend. Yeah, I just feel, after the grocery store, man, I felt so tired. So tired. All right, this one's called The Long Road to Justice. Oh, that was something else that I decided. So you notice that I'm actually physically talking while I'm diamond painting. To do a voiceover, first off, it was like I was recording twice, so double the time. And then when I went to process the video, because I was adding the sound to the video, it was taking like double the time to process. It was like taking me hours to do all of this. And I said, okay. It was starting to like stress me out a little bit. And I said, I can't do it like this. So from here on out, it's going to be me just talking and diamond painting at the same time, because it literally saves me so much time doing it that way. Okay. This one is called Long Road to Justice. Dana Fader had been through some tough times in her life. The 27-year-old mother of 3 had seen her marriage fail and her children separated. That's not good. She had seen her ex move out of state with her oldest, a 10-year-old named Angela. She had also had to place her middle child, Colby, in the care of her parents. The 2 jobs she worked simply didn't foot the bills, especially when she had to constantly chase her former husband for child support for the youngest, Johnny. Oh boy. Now, I know a little bit about that, and I only know because when my mom and my stepfather divorced, my brother's father, he owed my mom like 2 years child support for my brother and just never paid it. And she got fed up and she went to the court and she got a lien put on his truck until he would, that way he couldn't sell it without paying her. So he finally paid her because, yeah, that was, boy, there was some interesting times there. But yeah, so have a little bit of secondhand experience, let's say. Okay, the little boy lived with Dana in an apartment in Lake Worth, Florida, a residence she shared with her brother, Joseph Bailey. But at least Dana had a support system close at hand. Her mother and stepfather lived in the same building, and her sister Martha was just down the hall. Wow, that is pretty close. All right, let's do the P symbol. Where is that? 14. The siblings were close, so when Dana was feeling down on the evening of June 19th, 1987, after yet another fight with her ex, Martha suggested a girls' night out to lift the gloom. After some persuasion, Dana eventually agreed. Martha even loaned her sister an outfit, a beige dress, a leopard print scarf, and a pair of black ankle boots. Ooh. Dana Fader was an attractive woman, and she turned quite a few heads that night. And the night on the town proved to be just the ticket for lifting the alimony blues. The sisters visited several bars before Dana eventually called it a night. Martha then dropped her at the Willow Lakes Apartments complex. It was around 2 a.m. when Martha drove away, heading out for one last drink. Dana, meanwhile, headed upstairs. Something's going to happen. We know this. Short while later, Joseph Bailey was awakened by clattering from the kitchen and got up to find his slightly tipsy sister preparing a meal of sausage and eggs. Dana told him that she might pay a visit to her boyfriend, who lived in the same building. Good God, all these people lived in the same building. Joseph then went back to bed. When he woke again just before 9 a.m., the smell of burned food pervaded the apartment. Okay, the source of the stench was soon identified. Dana's pan was still on the stove, the sausage burned to a crisp. I'm surprised that, like, the apartment didn't catch on fire from that, right? Somewhat mystified, Joseph conducted a quick search of the residence. His sister wasn't there. Dana's purse was on the kitchen table, but of her there was no trace. Somewhat anxious now, Joseph called at the apartment occupied by Dana's boyfriend. Dana wasn't there either. Joseph's next stop was at his mother's apartment, and it was she who insisted that they call the police. So it's so weird because, okay, so Dana came in to the apartment and saw Joseph because she was making noise trying to make breakfast. And then he went back to bed and he didn't hear anything else. Okay. The mystery of Dana Fader's sudden disappearance would be resolved shortly after deputies arrived at the scene. Dana's 1980 Ford Fairmont was found parked on one side of the complex with the keys in the ignition. Dana was inside, still wearing the beige dress that had drawn so many admiring glances the night before. Only now the dress was hitched up over her waist and stained with blood and seminal fluid. Dana was in the back seat of her car, her legs spread and her eyes staring sightlessly ahead. There were ugly bruises on her slender throat. Dana Fader had been raped and murdered. Good night. But how had this happened? Just what I said. How had the young woman gone from cooking herself a late night meal to ending up dead in the parking lot? Yeah, how the hell did that happen? Detectives surmise that Dana must have come downstairs to fetch something from the car and been ambushed. Let me tell you. Bill told me last week, there were 2 carjackings on like a main highway in our area. And I was like, what? On like a Saturday. I said, that's why when I go out by myself, I stop at a red light, I'm looking around. I'm walking to my car, I'm looking around. I'm looking around all the time. I don't care if it's 10 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't care. People are desperate. People will do things in the middle of the day. Yeah, he said, anyone ever tries to carjack your car, first off, if you're able to pull away, if you're the first car, he said, just floor it, just pull away. But if not, he goes, let them take the car. Take the car. Yeah, my life is not worth my car. That's for darn sure. Okay. The killer had then driven the vehicle to a quiet corner of the lot. There he had hung a blanket from the back passenger window to shield the scene from view. He had then attacked Dana, raped her, and strangled her to death. Wow. To die like that, I can't even. The autopsy would find scratches and finger imprints on her neck. It would also detect a bite mark on one of the victim's nipples. Get out of here! This was a savage, animalistic murder. Who did this? Perpetrated by whom? That was the question. Was this a random attack, a tragic case of wrong place, wrong time, or had Dana known her killer? 85% of murders are done by people that you know. 85%. Chew on that little factoid. Since the latter is almost always the case in a murder inquiry, the police started there, questioning Dana's boyfriend and ex with a history of domestic violence. Even her brother they questioned because crazier things have happened. All of these suspects were cleared. When the most promising lead, a palm print found on the rear passenger window, also came up empty, the investigation was in trouble. What year was this again, though? Whoa. 1987. So, DNA, all that stuff, not prevalent in solving cases yet. The police, of course, had a case-busting piece of evidence in their possession, the blood and seminal fluid retrieved from the crime scene, but this was of limited use back in the 1980s, just what I said. DNA was only just emerging as a technology. It was prohibitively expensive and only effective under near-perfect conditions. The samples collected by Palm Beach County investigators were not yet viable. It would take 19 years, good night, 19 years of sustained scientific progress before a profile could be extracted, and that was in 2006. Unfortunately, there was no match to be found at that time. Again, we know there's going to come upon a match, so the person that did it is going to commit another crime, and it's going to pop up the results of this one. We saw that happen in the last one. The Combined DNA Index System, which is called CODIS, is a national database of DNA profiles created and maintained by the FBI. I think I'm done that symbol. Okay, what is the equal sign? It's 21. Oh, someone did ask me, do I go by the DMC symbol, or do I go by the key? So if you can see how that's labeled, and it's blurry because I have the focus turned off. This says 21 on it. All of the trays are labeled. So like number 1 on this canvas is the AB 115, and it's the symbol number 1. Number 2 is number 2, but like number 11 is the symbol U. I go by that. So like number 11 on the key is DMC code 402. So the packet of diamonds 402 is I dump that in tray 11, if you understand what I'm saying. So when I pull out to do these colors, I'm looking on the key for the symbol. That's the best way I can describe it. Okay. Actually, CODIS is a collection of databases, including missing persons, convicted offenders, and forensic samples from crime scenes. It is ever expanding, so failure to find a hit the first time does not preclude a successful outcome at a later date. We know this from the last story I read. Law agencies know this, and so requests may be submitted multiple times over the course of an investigation. In the Fader case, 6 years would pass before a second attempt was made. This time around, there was a match. The man who had raped and murdered Dana Fader was a convicted rapist from Jackson, Mississippi. His name was Rodney Clark. The crime that resulted in Rodney Clark's incarceration had occurred in Mississippi in 1988, just months after the murder of Dana Fader. The 18-year-old victim was snatched from a street, then subjected to a vicious sexual assault. Unlike Dana, she survived her ordeal to point out Clark as her attacker. Clark entered a guilty plea at trial and earned himself an 8-year stint in the penitentiary, and this was how his DNA profile ended up in CODIS, just like we said. Brought in for questioning, Clark insisted that he had never lived in Florida outside of a brief stint in the Job Corps when he was 17. When that was proven to be a lie, he conceded that he had lived in Palm Beach in the mid-'80s and was still living there in '87 when Dana Fader was murdered. However, he denied killing her. Shown a picture of the dead woman, his reaction was decidedly creepy. "She's pretty," he said, leering at the photograph, "but I've never seen her before in my life." Another lie, obviously. Despite these denials, Clark could not explain how his blood and semen had ended up on the body of a murder victim. Yeah, how would you explain that? He also could not explain how the palm print, now confirmed to be his, was on the rear window of the car in which the body had been found. All he could do was insist on his innocence. He was charged with first-degree murder anyway and extradited to Florida in 2013. 'Cause he did it! Come on now. As the matter headed to trial, Clark continued to insist that the police had the wrong man. "They can have DNA," he told a reporter. "I ain't killed nobody. I don't give a damn what they got. I am innocent of any crime committed against Dana Fader." He also insisted that he had looked forward to the trial as an opportunity to clear his name. His public defender took a rather more pragmatic view. You know, I give a lot of credit to public defenders. I don't know how you defend someone who you know raped and murdered someone. How do you defend that? Carrie Hallwout knew how damaging the DNA evidence was to his case and fought hard to have it suppressed. Had he succeeded, Rodney Clark would undoubtedly have walked. Once the motion was denied, the writing was on the wall for Clark. Okay, so this attorney is trying to get the DNA evidence suppressed. And what I think to myself, what if that was your sister or your mother? Right? Like, I don't know how prosecutors do it. I don't know. Rodney Clark appeared for trial in 2017 with the prosecutor determined to send him to death row. For Clark's defense team, there was only one option. They attacked the DNA evidence. This is seldom a winning strategy, and it wasn't in this case. Clark was convicted of first-degree murder. Then came the sentencing phase, with the defense producing a heavy hitter to argue for Clark's life. Dr. Jethro Toomer had appeared as an expert witness in the trials of Florida's two most notorious killers, Ted Bundy and Aileen Wuornos. Now he was here to argue that Rodney Clark did not deserve to die. Clark, he said, had suffered horrendous abuse as a child that should be taken in mitigation. You know, not for nothing, I've also, endured abuse as a child. I haven't gone and raped and killed someone. Just saying. Like, that is not a defense because you have a choice for your actions. Just my opinion. And the jury agreed. What? Perhaps swayed by the fact that Clark was now disabled and was wheeled into the courtroom each day in a wheelchair. Rather than the needle, Rodney Clark was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. For Dana Fader's family, the ruling came as a relief. 30 years had passed since Dana's sister had taken her out for a night on the town, a night that had ended in tragedy. The road to justice had been long and torturous, and it was over now. Good God. Okay, yeah, the book I'm reading is called You Can't Hide by Emily Schreiner. And oh boy, I don't even know how to tell you what it's about. It's two women. It tells the story in alternating perspectives, and I'm wondering how they're going to converge because they have to. That would be the whole point of the book. But yeah, it's good. Okay, so I'm going to end this here because we are now at 40 minutes. I got some diamond painting done. I did pretty good for having to talk the whole time. If I'm not reading a story and just talking, I can definitely get some done. But yeah, so I hope you guys are all having a good Sunday. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.